Trump is doing to show people that they're not alone. I mean, let's say you're one of this really, really tiny handful of friends in Henderson, Kentucky this weekend, who decided that even though there were only a few of them willing to do it, they were going to get out there on Highway 41 this weekend, and they said they're going to be back there next weekend too, even if it's only this little handful of them who feel brave enough to do it. If you're looking at this footage and you're thinking about what all this protest means, large and small, and whether it changes anything, whether it moves the needle, I have just one more thing to show you. Because this was Saturday in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is home, of course, to the most famous and prestigious university in the whole country, Harvard University. This was a Stand Up Harvard rally that happened in terrible rain and sleet and cold in Cambridge, Massachusetts on Saturday afternoon. The theme was effectively courage, not capitulation. People are trying to shore up Harvard, to tell them that they've got the gravitas and the weight and the wealth, that if they can't lead, who can? That they should not capitulate to Trump's threats, to Trump's demands to let him essentially take over and subjugate the universities. It has thus far been war on international students, war on academic freedom, war on campus free speech. It's been war on government research funding. It's about to be war on university endowments. And so these people turned out on Saturday in the wind and the cold, one protest among a gazillion. But in this case, they were just telling Harvard, don't do it. Don't capitulate. Stand up. This was Saturday. And tonight, here's the banner headline in the Boston Globe. Quote, Harvard refuses to comply with Trump's demands, says it won't, quote, allow itself to be taken over by the federal government. And they, of course, knew what that would mean. Here's the headline in the New York Times right now. Headline, Trump administration will freeze $2 billion after Harvard refuses demands. Harvard University said today that it had rejected policy changes requested by the Trump administration, becoming the first university to directly refuse to comply with the administration's demands, setting up a showdown between the federal government and the nation's wealthiest university. The reaction from the Trump administration was swift. On Monday night, officials said they would freeze $2.2 billion in multi-year grants to Harvard, along with one $60 million contract. Other universities have pushed back against the administration's interference in higher education, but Harvard's response, which called the Trump administration's demands illegal, marked a major shift in tone for the nation's most influential school. You know, the law firms that Trump has been extorting, basically, threatening them and then telling them to pay up if they don't want more pain, right? The law firms that Trump has been extorting, according to new reporting in the Wall Street Journal, Trump has been making the law firms negotiate their protection racket extortion deals with Boris Epstein, who does not work for the U.S. government. He just works as a kind of personal fixer. I think of him as sort of a universal donor of menacing atmosphere to President Donald Trump and all things that surround him. Boris Epstein is under felony indictment in Arizona. He has pled not guilty. He did plead guilty to disorderly conduct in Arizona after he was accused of repeatedly groping women in an Arizona bar. Mr. Epstein also denied allegations that he was selling administration jobs in this second Trump term in exchange for cash bribes. But now Trump has him of all people, personally working out the protection deals that he is extorting from the nation's great law firms, where they allow Trump to dictate their policies at the firm, and they agree effectively to pay Trump by giving free legal services to causes he chooses. And in return, apparently Boris promises these firms that the Trump administration's not going to hurt him anymore. He's having Boris do it. That's the kind of deal-making we're talking about here. It is straight out of season 1 of The Sopranos. And much like the law firms, colleges have thus far been trying to negotiate their own deals. Not that differently from what we're seeing from all the law firms. But Harvard tonight, Harvard, the big one, Harvard tonight says no. And they knew what it would mean, and they said no. And they said, we are going to fight. And I don't know what put the steel in their spine to do it. But saying no, we're going to fight, was an option for everyone. Harvard has now taken that option, which means that fight, at least, is on. Sherilyn Ifill is here tonight. Martin O'Malley is here tonight. So much to come. Stay with us.
So what are you thinking?